Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Renee Box Young, man. This is a platform where we simply discuss, critique, analyze, and simply talk about the sport of boxing, man. You know what it is in a level-headed fashion, man. Take the hate somewhere else. We ain't got time for that. Y'all know what we do here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Welcome once again, subscribers since day one, recent subscribers. Thank you so much, man, for the support, tuning into the lives, commenting in the comment sections. Been having a ball, man. I just been having a ball with the lives, you know, with the guests, honorable guests, you know, my sidekick, also LeVar Cooper. Shouts out to my guy, you know what I mean? And I need to make a reaction on this fight, okay? Soon we'll be having a live session, as we have been. You know, we just been pushing the lives, having a great time with honorable guests, you know what I'm saying? Soon we'll be getting that live in, and I should be able to schedule it beforehand, okay? So you guys can know, get the notifications there, so y'all can tune in. And I reiterate, thank you so much for just you know, being a part of this community at Renee Box Young. We're doing it all in a level-headed, clean fashion. You know, we're doing new things here on Renee Box Young, and I really appreciate you. I want to get right to this reaction, okay? First and foremost, you know, in the build up to this fight, you know, been going live, and I've been saying, matter of fact, shouts out to Blue Blood, man. My guy right there, man. Blue Blood. I was invited there. You know, my internet was tripping that day, as a matter of fact. It was on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Friday evening. You know, my internet was going in and out, and I was jumping in the panel, going out, going back in. But thankfully, I was able to respond to some questions there. And, you know, towards the end of Blue Blood's video, live session, I'm sorry, you know, we were asked about, you know, Berchelt, Valdez. I said that Valdez, I slightly got Valdez winning. You know, obviously everybody had it a close fight as far as predictions and analysis, you know, breaking down the two fighters. And towards the end, I concluded my, you know, input saying that, you know, Oscar will possibly knock out Berchelt. And that's what happened, man. Great stuff. Amazing fight. Hats off to both of these Mexican warriors, man. Berchelt, you know, defended this title 6 times. Amazing career, you know what I'm saying? Oscar Valdez was deemed, to a certain extent, the underdog. Came in, showed up, and showed out. You know, I'm just giving my general, you know, build up to this reaction as a foundation, okay? And, you know, I've been saying, you know, in the build up of the fight also, how Oscar Valdez, you know, he has Eddie Reynoso, you know, as a trainer. And he has improved on his defense. You know, Eddie Reynoso is a type of trainer. He has mentioned, you know, in the buildup of this fight, you know, also Eddie Reynoso, I paraphrase, you know, what he has said, that, you know, Oscar Valdez needs to work on the defense aspect in his game. You know what I mean? So if I'm not mistaken, they've been working together for several fights already. And I have seen how Oscar Valdez has improved on his defense. As a matter of fact, if you go back to the Scott Quigg fight that I have referenced several times, and also I made a video about that time ago, you know, weeks ago, you know, I referenced that fight. And if I'm not mistaken, in that fight, Scott Quigg, Robles was Oscar Valdez's trainer at that time. And ever since Oscar Valdez has switched to Eddie Reynoso as trainer, you can tell, man. I mean, and I mentioned it time and time again, how Oscar Valdez, he uses the ring quite well. Seems like he prowls. He prowls like a panther, you know, just walking around slowly, back foot slowly when his opponent attacks. And he uses the ring well with his feet, you know what I'm saying? So, and we have seen those improvements ever since he went to Eddie Reynoso. And that's one of the reasons why I thought, you know, and chose Oscar Valdez as beating Berchelt. And this was to the buildup of the fight, okay? This was in the buildup of the fight before they even fought. So Eddie Reynoso, you know, and I've said this time and time again, ladies and gentlemen, how not only Canelo, and we all say that, you know, and I've been saying this in the buildup of the fight, that how, you know, Canelo, we all say that, and we all reference this, that Canelo has, and we point out this fact. It's a fact. I mean, I'm not saying it ain't. It's a fact that Canelo has learned a lot from losing to Floyd Mayweather. But the focal point is always on Canelo learning a lot. Eddie Reynoso learned a lot too as a trainer. We tend to ignore that, and we tend to just kind of like, you know, not recognize that. And it's something to be recognized. It's a major point, ladies and gentlemen, aspect that we should focus on and bring to light and recognize that Eddie Reynoso as Canelo's trainer, several other fighters now, as far as now, you know, recently speaking, but Eddie Reynoso learned a lot from, you know, Canelo's loss to Mayweather, because Canelo's loss was Eddie's loss. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is with any fighter. with any fighter. I mean, you already know. I mean, whoever loses, it's the trainer's loss too. It's the team's loss. So Eddie Reynoso learned a lot, ladies and gentlemen, as trainer on how to train his fighters in the defensive aspect, and we got to give credit to Eddie Reynoso. I've been saying it time and time again on my platform. A lot of credit should be given to Eddie Reynoso. So why do I say this? Is because ever since Oscar Valdez switched to Eddie Reynoso, to have him as trainer, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have been seeing a considerable amount of improvement in Oscar Valdez performances in the ring ever since he switched to Eddie Reynoso. He's been more patient. He's been more patient. He would use his footwork. He would use the ring, a little bit more to his advantage. The defense, the upper body movement. You see it. You've seen it to its optimum. You saw these tools, ladies and gentlemen, to its optimum level as far as Oscar Valdez in this fight against Berchelt. And a lot of the credit should go also to Eddie Reynoso. I mean, hats off. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful performance, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like what happened here in this fight, Oscar Valdez, was using the jab amazingly. Firm, down the pipe, down the middle, straight jab, left-hand jab. I mean, it was landing round after round. And that is what debilitated. That is what stalled Berchelt. And we all know, and I've said this also in the build-up of the fight, man, Berchelt, his defense isn't the best. His offense is his defense. We talked about it with honorable guests. Shouts out to our guys. You know what I'm saying? LeVar Cooper, Bruce Goes, Curtis Anderson. You know what I'm saying? Family right there. And we talked about it, and everybody knows. The boxing community knows. Those who have seen Berchelt fight in his previous fights. I wasn't, and I said this. I wasn't impressed by Berchelt's last performance, ever since before the Oscar Valdez fight. His defense was, it was especially against the opponent he was fighting. I wasn't impressed, okay? And I also was doubting Oscar Valdez and the stamina factor, because also when Oscar Valdez fought, before Berchelt's fight, his stamina, he gassed out like it, halfway through the fight. So, I was kind of contemplating that factor as well. But I was confident that Oscar Valdez was going to optimize, his advantage and opportunities regarding, on Berchelt's lack of defense. Berchelt, his defense was his downfall. His lack of defense was his big downfall in this fight. And Eddie Reynoso was able to read that. He was able to read it beautifully. And he trained, Oscar Valdez in that sense. And his team, generally speaking, his team trained him, and schooled him in how to optimize on those disadvantages that, Berchelt has. His biggest disadvantage is his lack of defense. I mean, Berchelt thought he was going to go in there and fight just like he did all his other opponents, which is why the community was, uproaring about this. I was too, that it was going to be just a major blowout fight. It was a beautiful fight, man. And hats off to Oscar Valdez in his victory. And like I said from the beginning, hats off to both of these warriors. And a beautiful game plan, ladies and gentlemen, was executed by Oscar Valdez. He got the win. I mean, he boxed out Berchelt in a beautiful fashion. How many times have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? How many times have we seen, fighters lose by the jab because they lack the fundamental skills? In this case, Berchelt lacked the fundamental skill of defense. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know what I mean? It's as basic as that. It's as fundamental as that. We've seen it recent examples. You already know. Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde lost the jab. We can even go back even further with Anthony Yarde losing to Kovalev by the jab. Because these fighters, Kovalev and Lyndon Arthur, they use the fundamental skill that is so practical and so advantageous when it comes to fighters. You know what I mean? Danny Dubois, recent example there too, lost to the jab. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So hats off to Oscar Valdez and his team, his trainer, Oscar Valdez. Just amazing execution in boxing, in this fight. It was just beautiful. And the jab set up the knockout, ladies and gentlemen. His feet got wobbly, and I don't remember which round it was, round three or what have you. And just beautiful, beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what's next? Okay, what's next? we got to check this out, okay? If I'm not mistaken, in the post-fight reaction or what have you, post-fight interview, sorry, Oscar Valdez, called out Shakur Stevenson. Now let's get right to this, okay? Let's get to box.live, okay? You check it out, link in the description. You already know. This division is stacked, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not over for Berchelt. Let me say that before we get into this. It's not over for Berchelt. Obviously, I've said it time and time again. I've been saying it that a loss doesn't define a fighter. 2 losses doesn't define a fighter. Even 3 losses doesn't define a fighter. It just depends on their comeback. And Berchelt has had an amazing career, and it's not over for him. Let me mention this, ladies and gentlemen, please. Let me mention this. Berchelt, if I'm not mistaken, in the build-up of the fight, he's been interviewed by several platforms. One of them was ESPN Knockouts, okay, here in Mexico. It's all in Spanish interviews, so I get a unique perspective when it comes to certain interviews, okay? Also, Oscar Valdez was interviewed by ESPN Knockouts, all in Spanish. And it was mentioned by one of the reporters that, in this whole build-up before this amazing fight, that this was Berchelt's last fight under Top Rank, if I'm not mistaken, okay? So we'll see what Berchelt's next move is going to be. It's important to point that out. We'll see what his next move is going to be in his career. I don't think it's going to be retirement, but who knows? We don't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be his last. It was his last fight. This was his last fight under his Top Rank contract. So what's his next move going to be? Now that's why I want to get into this, because if you go to box.live, like I said, link in the description. You go to the division, super featherweight, 130 pounds. You got great names, and several of these great names are under Top Rank. If I'm not mistaken, Herring is, okay. You got Stevenson there. I mean, you got some names there that are under Top Rank, okay. Obviously Oscar Valdez, who just fought. I mean, but Farmer, he's not. If I'm not mistaken, he's under Eddie Hearn, DAZN, Matchroom, whatever, under Eddie Hearn. Okay, so under Eddie Hearn. Colbert, if I'm not mistaken, is on PBC. Colbert is another great name. Diaz is under Golden Boy, right? Oscar De La Hoya, what have you. Davis, PBC, obviously. I'm sorry, Mayweather Promotions, whatever. Okay, so I mean, you got a couple names that are under Top Rank. Now the question here is with Berchelt, okay? What's he gonna do next? Is he gonna stay in Top Rank? Obviously, you know the story, ladies and gentlemen. You already know the story concerning fighters who stay under Top Rank, okay? Especially fighters who who have the potential to catapult and are at the time where they are to catapult in their careers, but they are limited under Bob Arum. We got to say the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, we got to say the facts, okay? So you already know this platform is not biased, okay? It's not, I just look at everything in a level-headed fashion, in a neutral fashion. I can care less about race, blah, 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 what promotion they're under, but I point out the facts. And you already know, the names, the list of fighters who have left Top Rank, okay, and have catapulted in their careers, okay? Now, the question here is for Berchelt. I mean, after this loss, obviously he can come back. You see what I'm saying? It's not over for his career, but it's interesting to point out. It's intriguing to know that, and I reiterate, if I'm not mistaken, this fight against Oscar Valdez was his last fight, in the contract under Top Rank. So what's his next move going to be? I personally think, okay, we'll go back to the rankings here. As I said the names here, and we know that, we have an idea concerning what promotional company these guys are in association with and working under. I reiterate, Colbert, if I'm not mistaken, is under PBC. Farmer is under Eddie Hearn. Herring is under Top Rank. Diaz under Oscar De La Hoya. Davis, Mayweather Promotions, which they usually fight on PBC, right? Rakimov, I'm not too sure, okay? So Stevenson, obviously in Top Rank. So, Berchelt has, okay, ladies and gentlemen, he has a myriad of options of who to fight. But the question is he going to stay under Bob Arum? I think personally, if he leaves Top Rank, okay, if he leaves Top Rank, he'll have an opportunity to fight these other names that are under, other promotional, umbrellas, whatever you want to call it. I think he'll have a easier opportunity, okay, to fight these other names, which would be amazing, okay? Now, getting back to what I was saying, in the post-fight interview, whatever platform it was under, I think it was an ESPN, a reporter there, I don't know. Okay, it's just so many I sometimes tend to forget, but I'm sure you guys already know that, Oscar Valdez called out Shakur Stevenson. Now, if you go to the rankings here, okay, Shakur Stevenson has just options. I mean, it's wonderful. I've said it time and time again. A lot of people know, and I made a video about it. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember, I don't remember which video it was, but you know, Shakur Stevenson wants these names out there. You know, he wants the champs. He called out, you know, he was waiting upon Jamel Herring versus Frampton, the winner of that. But the problem there is already, you know what happened before the hand injury, supposedly, according to Frampton and his team. I don't even know if it's true. Whatever. He got hurt by that. He hurt his hand, apparently. Okay. Which postponed the fight now between Frampton and Harrington. Rumors are, whatever sources say, that it's possibly going to be in Dubai now in another date, a couple weeks later or something. I don't know. But man, that postponed the possibility of Shakur fighting the winner out of these two. Now we don't know what the heck's going to happen there. So, but, you know, Shakur has options. You know, he's calling out the, you know, and he's ranked #1 here in WBO. So I mean, that's amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it awesome? They're just names. This division's fire. Recently, it was talked about 135 is fire, yes, but we know what's going on there. Too much drama for your mama. You know what I'm saying? Too much drama for your mama. You know what I'm saying? I was joking around, right? But you know, now it seems like the attention is, you know, being targeted here more in the super featherweight division, which I think is awesome. Now let's see how these fighters make their moves, okay? And I reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to give our hats off to these warriors. You know, Berchelt and Oscar Valdez, man, they stepped up to the plate. Best fighting the best. Let's go. You know, hats off to them. More emphasis has to be put on these kinds of guys. You know what I'm saying? These types of fights and matchups. Okay, I mean, enough of the, that's why I don't pay attention with the drama and stuff like that, you know, back and forth, you know, fighters doing a whole soap opera or whatever. I ain't got time for that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I mention it from here to there, time to time, but I ain't got too much time to do that, you know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, it looks like Shakur Stevenson versus the winner between Jamel Herring and Carl Frampton is less probable. Looks like that fight for Shakur Stevenson, the winner of them two, between them two, is less probable. I see that less probable. Now that Oscar Valdez, you know, beat Berchelt in an impressive fashion, you already saw the wonderful knockout, just amazing. And thankfully thankfully Berchelt woke up from that. He was out, ladies and gentlemen. He was just out, and I'm just thankful that he woke up and he's well. I mean, that really worried me. He was out for a while, ladies and gentlemen. So man, reminding me of Marquez, how he knocked out Pacquiao. I mean, it was just a beautiful, if I'm not mistaken, a left. You know, man, a left power punch, man. Boom. My gosh. Short left hand, man, down the pipe. Bam. If I'm not mistaken, it was a left hand. Took out Berchelt. He was out. But anyways, so Oscar Valdez called out Shakur Stevenson, okay? So Shakur Stevenson here is second here, okay? I'm not the best with rankings and stuff like that, but he's up here. You know, speaking, you know, face value here, it looks like Shakur Stevenson, he's the mandatory, you know, he or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't really get caught up in this ranking stuff because it's a lot of politics and stuff like that. But face value, on paper, it looks like Shakur Stevenson should be next to fight Oscar Valdez. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay? Looks like he's next, ladies and gentlemen, to fight Oscar Valdez for that WBC title. Okay? So this just makes it a lot more interesting. And in addition to that, Oscar Valdez called him out. So, you know, this is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this whole you know, the ramifications of Oscar Valdez beating you know, Berchelt. This is amazing. I think this is awesome. And I think it's even more awesome that Oscar Valdez is calling out Shakur Stevenson. It's not the other way around, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there have been people saying, and platforms or whatever, right, that Oscar Valdez ducked Shakur Stevenson. I don't know. I don't get into that stuff. All I know is that I give all my hats off and credit to both of these fighters, as I reiterated a moment ago, and as I, you know, referenced at the beginning of this video. Hats off to these warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Berchelt versus Oscar Valdez. That's not ducking. They went at it. They fought. You know, top competition right here. You know, for both of these fighters in this fight in particular. Okay. Now that Oscar, you know, Valdez is calling out Shakur, I humbly think that Oscar ain't gonna duck. He don't want to duck Shakur Stevenson. I personally think that, okay? I don't think he's trying to duck Stevenson. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta understand that, you know, the boxing community, sometimes we're too quick to call out ducks. We're too quick to label ducks. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, and I'm very careful when I do this. I really don't do that. I've done it once, I think, with Tyson Fury, and I stand on it. You know what I'm saying? I stand on it to this day, and it's just my humble opinion. I think he avoided Wilder in the rematch after the first fight. And I explained it on Blue Blood time and time again there. You know, shouts out to our guy right there. Once again, Blue Blood. I've explained it there when we talk about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That's just my humble opinion. You can think what you want, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, I think he avoided the immediate rematch with Wilder, okay? Went off to fight Wallin and Schwartz and whatever, you know what happened there. The immediate rematch. So sometimes there are, you know, reasons, politics, blah, blah, blah. Money that gets in the middle, you know, gets in between two fighters that keep the fight from happening. I mean, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, you know, some time ago when apparently Shakur Stevenson ducked, you know, but I don't want to get into that because I think that Oscar Valdez really wants to fight Shakur Stevenson. He called him out, fought Berchelt, stepped up to the plate, beat him. Okay. And now he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson and he's calling him out. I think that, okay, getting back to this list here, this rankings, I think that this fight between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson is more probable to happen as opposed to Shakur Stevenson fighting the Herring-Frampton winner because of that whole quote-unquote hand injury by Carl Frampton. I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't know. Whatever. He got hurt he hurt his hand apparently, okay, which extended that date, okay, between Herring and Frampton. So I see that less probable. But I see this fight, ladies and gentlemen, more probable. You know, you got Oscar Valdez 29-0. You got Shakur Stevenson 15-0. They're both former Olympians. I mean, this would be an amazing fight, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh. You see, so I'm including in this post-fight reaction the possible ramifications of what we're going to see next, okay, between these two amazing fighters. And now I'm referring to Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. They're both amazing fighters. I think that, you know, Oscar Valdez is more, you know, proven, more tested, battle tested when it comes to Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. I personally think that Oscar Valdez is more battle tested, ladies and gentlemen, has fought tougher opponents, has been in more wars than Shakur Stevenson. And when you talk about opponents also. So, but this would still serve for an amazing fight because everybody knows the story with Shakur Stevenson. I've said it time and time again, ladies and gentlemen, on my platform, how I exalt, you know, and, have a focal point regarding Shakur Stevenson's talents, Shakur Stevenson's tools in the ring. And I've said it months and months ago, ladies and gentlemen. I posted a video out about Shakur Stevenson that, you know, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on this cat. Don't sleep on this young champ, this hungry lion, whatever you want to call him, right? Shakur Stevenson's an amazing fighter, and he's hungry, okay? So this would serve for an amazing fight, ladies and gentlemen, even though I think Oscar Valdez, you know, has a slight advantage. I don't want to break down that fight yet because we don't even know what's going to happen. We'll see. It's a very interesting and intriguing, you know, twist that this win between Oscar Valdez and Berchelt has brought into the 130-pound division. So this is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? What do you think is going to be next for Oscar Valdez? Now, this isn't to say, ladies and gentlemen, this may happen, and I'm not going to call him a duck. I don't know. Like I said, okay, maybe Oscar Valdez. I mean, look at the names you got here, ladies and gentlemen. You got Gervonta Tank Davis. According to rumors and sources, whatever, he might fight Garrett Russell. I don't know. Who knows? It's hard to trust Gervonta Tank Davis and all the things he says now, and his team and whatever. Mayweather, promoter, Leonard Ellerby, whatever. I don't know about Tank Davis these days, man. I mean, great win against Leo Santa Cruz. I think it was great, you know what I'm saying? Great fight. But who knows, man? It looks like they're trying to make him more of a star than, you know, fight legacy fights. That's just my humble opinion, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in Gervonta Tank Davis' career, you know what I'm saying, in the near future. But, you know, look at the names. That's what I'm trying to talk about here. Look at the names. You got Rakimov. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is a big possibility. Maybe Oscar Valdez will go for that vacant title belt. You see, that can be another possibility here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to hate on that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to say, oh, Oscar Valdez is ducking, Shakur Stevenson because he went for the vacant belt at IBF to fight Rakimov. Rakimov's not a pushover either, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? You know, I thought Jojo Diaz was going to go in and take this guy out. But y'all know the story. Made a post-fight reaction on that too. I mean, I explained myself there. But I think that would be amazing. Oscar Valdez going for that IBF belt, okay? Fighting Rakhimov. That would be a beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful fight. And then going back to fight Shakur Stevenson. You know, I mean, there's just names out here, ladies and gentlemen. You got Chris Colbert here. Maybe Chris Colbert will want to go for the WBC. And like I said, sometimes with these numbers, you know, politics, things can turn around. Maybe Chris Colbert will call out Oscar Valdez for that belt. And maybe, you know politics. You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he'll have a shot. Chris Colbert's a great fighter, too. Really skilled. But I don't think he's proven yet. You know, a lot of these fighters, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean? They got the skills, they show it, but they haven't been battle tested. And Oscar has been battle tested. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is great. You know what I mean? And I hope, though, I really do hope Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson do fight next. I really do, because Oscar Valdez calling him out. So hey, he's going to be called out for that. You know what I'm saying? Oscar Valdez is going to be called out by the community for that. We got to keep a close eye on what's going to happen next. You know, let's keep a close eye on these guys. You know, what's Shakur Stevenson going to respond to Oscar Valdez call out? Maybe he already did respond on Twitter. I don't know. I don't keep up with all that social media stuff. It's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Every second there's something new. Especially between, you know, Ryan Garcia. You know, you already know the story with Ryan Garcia. Especially also Tank Davis. Every other day he's posting something on Twitter. I ain't got time to follow all that. You know what I'm saying? But I do have time to follow fights that happened, what can be the ramifications of that, what they said, what fighters say after, you know, in post-fight interviews and conferences, et cetera, press conferences or what have you. I do have time to pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? All this Twitter drama and stuff like that, I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I do, and obviously I reiterate. I mention it from time to time, but, you know, I got more important things to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let them have fun on Twitter, whatever. Twitter ain't signing contracts, ladies and gentlemen. But to a certain extent, it's important to pay attention to a certain extent what they say on Twitter going back and forth, but not always. Because you already know what happened with Ryan Garcia recently. That's another example. What with this whole thing with Tank Davis. This whole thing with Pacquiao. This whole thing with him, even with Jake Paul, whatever, that YouTuber guy. You know, they're faced off and whatever. It's just sometimes it's not even important to pay attention to that stuff. Who cares? You know, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It just leads to a bunch of, going back and forth and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you saw me, I just switched to Twitter there. I think that's a future video I'm gonna post up. But so, man, to conclude this is just amazing. The future possibilities for Oscar Valdez, the names up there at 130, it's just amazing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm enjoying the sport of boxing. I'm not really complaining about it. There's a handful of fights that we want to see that haven't happened, but at the same time, there are fights that have been popping off, ladies and gentlemen, since the last quarter of 2020. You cannot deny that. My focus is not on all the drama and nonsense that's going on in the sport of boxing, which causes platforms to war at each other. Ain't got time for that. That's why I say time and time again, take the hate somewhere else. We don't do that here at Renee Box Young. So hey man, I'm excited for the sport. I'm enjoying it. So many fights, you know what I'm saying? And what do you think about this, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think that Oscar Valdez should fight Shakur Stevenson next? I do. And I reiterate, the community is going to call out Oscar Valdez for him calling out Shakur Stevenson if he doesn't fight Shakur Stevenson next. You see, I'm 100 with everybody. I can care less where they're from and whatever. I just look at fighters, and what they do, make their moves. I want to see the best fight the best out there. Y'all know what I'm about. So we'll see, man. But at the same time, please listen, I got to reiterate this. At the same time, if Valdez goes for Rakhimov for that vacant belt, that would be cool. But don't take too long to fight Shakur Stevenson now. You see what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. Renee Box Young, go ahead and comment below. Like, subscribe, share, man. I reiterate one more time, this is a platform where we simply discuss, critique, analyze, and just talk about the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's our community, you know what I'm saying? We are family. We are one. We just chop up the sport of boxing in a wonderful, harmonious fashion. And I appreciate each and every one of you subscribers since day one, recent subscribers. You guys are awesome. Renee Box Young, please comment below. What do you think about this all, man? Who do you think Shakur Stevenson should fight next? And who should Oscar Valdez fight next? According to what we have been seeing lately, and what I'm saying here, they should fight next. They should fight each other next. So we'll see, though. Man, 130 division, ladies and gentlemen, is fire. So let's pay attention, on what matters most in the sport of boxing. Renee Box Young, stay safe. Peace out, family. Peace.